Hey friends, welcome to the School of Hard Knocks with Darcie, a place where we become unstuck from trauma and grounded in our healing. I'm your host, Darcie, and I'm a proud multi-graduate of the School of Hard Knocks. Life has a way of teaching us lessons we never asked for, but here we take those lessons and turn them into healing, strength, and self-leadership. I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in.
Just a quick reminder. This podcast shares personal stories and lived experiences. It's not therapy. It's not counseling or legal advice. If you need professional help, please reach out to a licensed provider.
Hello, School of Hard Knocks. Welcome in. Classes in session. I am here with Amanda Pieraldi, and she is the host of the Spiritual Gangster Podcast. I just cannot wait to chat about all this stuff. I'm going to introduce you to her. So welcome, first of all, Amanda.
Oh, thank you so much. I am so happy to be here and to meet you. And this is just a wonderful experience.
Yeah, awesome. I'm so glad you're here. So let's learn a little bit about Amanda. Like I said, she is the host of the Spiritual Gangster Podcast, where she shares real, unfiltered conversations about personal growth, resilience, and navigating life's hardest seasons. After experiencing loss, career shifts, and rebuilding from the ground up, she now uses her voice to remind others that they're stronger than they think and that even in the mess, there's meaning. Her work blends mindset, energy, and real life truth to help people come back to themselves. Hallelujah. Amen for all of that.
Absolutely. I know that really captures everything. That is definitely, I think, what I'm out here to do. I feel like it kind of all starts that like life just doesn't go as planned sometimes. We've got this image in our mind of how things are going to go, and then when they don't, it's like, what do you mean? I'm not going to have the white picket fence and everything going to work out the way that I wanted. So for me, that's kind of where it started. I would say that so early on, I had moved. I'm from a small town. I'll give you this part. So I'm from a small town in southwestern Ontario in Canada. So I grew up in a very rural area. And when I was about 21 years old, I moved away to the Dominican Republic and packed up shop and was like, I'm going to teach. And I moved there and I was teaching over there. And from that I met my ex-husband, got married, had a child, had her in the Dominican. So I had this idea that like, oh my goodness, I've got the husband, I've got the baby, I've got everything is working. I'm in the tropics, I'm in the Caribbean, I'm teaching, like life is good.
Mhm.
And then life, it hits we came back to Canada, and from there, I started working as a developmental support worker. So it's like I went from education, from teaching, then into developmental support worker, and I loved that field, absolutely loved it, felt so rewarding. And then that's kind of when life flipped me upside down. And in 2017, my marriage ended. And in the moment, absolutely devastating, crushes you. You think, how do I go on? This was my identity. I am a wife, I'm a mother, but I'm also a wife. And when that is gone, that label is stripped, it's like, what do I do? So I had to make some big choices, and in life we've got to make these big choices, and that was making the decision to go back to school at that time. So I went back to school, so as an adult going into college, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to be with a bunch of 17 and 18-year-olds. This is going to be crazy, but it ended up being a wonderful experience. I got my diploma in executive office administration, and really, really enjoyed that field as well, and started working within this area in different administrative positions. And as I had just been getting into the administration world and feeling like things were, life is finally connecting, it was like, I'm trying to balance, the fact that my marriage is done now. I'm doing this, big girl thing. I'm going back to school, and I'm gonna change my life. And my biggest supporter got sick. My mom got sick, and it was very quick. It was from like September to December. Like that's a very short period of time. And she got metastatic breast cancer. And unfortunately, on Christmas morning in 2019, my mom passed away. And so that's gutting. I mean, when she's like the pivotal, you know, woman in your life, the role model that you have, the person that you're so excited that you're starting this new career and you're going to want her help and her guidance and this kind of stuff, and then they're gone. That that level of grief is just something you can't prepare for. There is nothing in life that could have ever prepared me for that level of grief. And it appears in such a strange and mysterious way, too. During that moment when she had passed, it really felt like I had to be strong for everybody else.
Mm.
So everyone was like, I don't know how you're dealing with this so well. And it was like, I don't know either, but I am. But really, it was I needed to be strong, or I felt I needed to be strong for everybody else. So in that being since 2019 to now, I have definitely noticed over the years, wow, is grief not linear? Just like growth, like it is the same. It is not linear. I would say this past Christmas, I was like, holy cow, like I don't really know how did this get so bad? Like she's been gone for how many years now? And why does it feel like it just happened? And I'm like, the last couple of years, seem to be okay. And this year, why is it? And it just goes to show that, grief is an ebb and flow and it is not linear. And so that really does teach you things when you realize that, life is so short. This time we have is so limited, and so we really need to make the most out of our time. So the deep grief from my mom's passing really gave me like a perspective shift. That was like, what is happening? And then this also falls in the time of COVID. So it
Yeah.
was just at the cusp of COVID. So then we move into COVID, and it's like you're locked in. You're like, what am I going to do? So I feel like I was constantly trying to reinvent myself. And during COVID, I had started a business selling holistic health and wellness products. And I felt like getting more into like touching things, making things, really making an impact in my community, that type of thing. So the perspective shift really happened. And, eventually COVID ends and we go back into work. And then it was like 13 months later, my grandmother died. And she was like I only had two main women in my life. And it was like, bam, she's gone too. So it was like the two most pivotal women in my life suddenly were gone. And it was like, where do you reach for guidance? Where do you reach for? And so I feel like that really took me into a space of spirituality, really, realizing, yes, their physical body is gone. Absolutely. That part is gone, but they're not. They are around you. And that's the wonderful thing that I love about us, that we are made up of energy, and that is scientifically impossible to destruct. It can simply change form. So that kind of goes to explain, like when you walk into a room and you feel off, or you walk into a room and you feel really light and happy, and that's energy around us that's causing that to happen. And our loved ones are there with us as well, if we can feel that energy close to us. And not everybody is there. And so some people will think, oh, that's baloney. But I felt it, I genuinely feel my mom with me, my nanny. I feel them with me all the time. There's this thing that I do, like if I'm having a really hard time, my biggest thing, and I've been sharing it with people because it makes such a big difference. If you have somebody that you love who has passed on and you're going through a really challenging time, my biggest thing that I love to do when I'm in the mid meltdown is I will start praying to my mom, like talking to my mom, and I will be like, I need you to hold this for me. This emotion, this feeling I have is far too great for me to carry. Can you carry it for me? And I guarantee you, if you ask a loved one to carry your weight, like they will carry it. And immediately you just feel lightness. There's been so many times where I've been bawling and just like so full of emotion that I just can't stop. And then I ask, please, can you hold this for me? And immediately the tears stop and the heart rate goes down. And it's like, what the heck? You,
Mm.
and then it's like the immense amount of belief, like, oh my goodness, you are with me. Like I couldn't regulate myself in those moments and to ask that. So being able to move more into my spirituality with that and understand the energetics of things was really, really eye-opening. So I feel like with all these losses, it was like, okay, I'm finally building myself up. I finally got the job. That was like, oh my goodness, my mom is going to be so proud of me. Like in my area, petrochemicals is a big area for big development, big jobs to find. And I finally found one of these. And it was like you had to know somebody to get in there, and I didn't. So I was like, this is my mom working magic. Like this is her. And then it's like another swoop comes in, and it's like, how many times can you get like punched before you're like, I don't think I can take this anymore? And I was at work one day and I got a call from my daughter's high school. She's 17 now, but this was a couple of years ago. And they were telling me that she was being taken by ambulance to the hospital. They're not sure what's wrong with her. She was dizzy, she was this and that. We go to the hospital and becomes the new thing. My daughter's diabetes diagnosis. Like she was about to go into like ketoacidosis. So like
Yeah.
if you don't get treatment, you're not going to make it. So that was
Mhm.
terrifying. And it was like, what do you mean? I'm going through this. Where's my mom? Like, I need my
Yeah.
mom to talk about this, to get through this. How am I going to get through this without my mom? Like, she's the OG. She would know what to do.
Hmm.
And yeah, so just navigating that, and it was very challenging. So, once she gets back to school and things are we're getting back into this new rhythm. But the new rhythm was including like lots of phone calls at work. Like, this is happening. I'm having a, dizzy spell, or I'm having this and that. I'm not feeling well. I'm getting sick. So it would often be me leaving work. I'm a single mom now. What do I do? I have to leave work. I have to go get my kid. And, your head gets cloudy when you have all of these things going around and you're trying to navigate. I've always been big on journaling and that type of stuff. So I've always had that type of mindset, but obviously you're still going to have a cloudy mind. And one minor slip up at work with an email. And because I was a contractor, I immediately lost my job. And it was like, well, I really don't think I can take this anymore. But
Love
that,
adding another hard knock to my resume.
right? It was like, I feel like I was already pretty good at this hard knock stuff. And now, like, one more, like, this can't be real. But it really showed me that sometimes life falls apart because it needs to fall together, And that was really the moment. So I'm not working now. I've lost the job. I've got two children right now. So I have a 17-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son. And it's like, what? I'm the person they need to look up to. And now I've had all these blows. I could crawl into a hole and a deep depression, and it would be visible to them. Or I could try to step into the uncomfortable and start using some of the techniques and the skills that I already had. And with that, I started writing my first book. And I was like, just slowly puttering away at it, and was like, yeah, I am going to do this. I am going to really write a book. I'm going to do this. And I was like, what is helping me right now? And it was affirmations. Affirmations were my thing. I have them all around my room. I have them in the bathroom. I have them everywhere. Um, Affirmations really were helping me at the time. So I thought, why not pour myself into a book of affirmations that anybody could grab at any time, flip open. You don't have to start at the beginning. You could start in the middle, the end. It's just something to grab quickly and read one affirmation. And it applies to everyone. And with that, I had the Spiritual Gangster Daily Affirmations, which I first released, which I've got here for you to take a peek see.
Love it.
And yeah, so that came out first. And that was super exciting for my kids to see, like, oh my goodness, mom, like, you did that? And I was like, I did do that. And they're like, and people are buying it? And I was like, and people are buying it. It's like, this is so cool. So I kind of had a snowball effect from there. I was like, I think with this book, affirmations are great, but sometimes people don't know how to take it a little bit a step farther. They don't know what are the questions I should be asking myself with this affirmation. So thereafter, I wrote the Spiritual Gangster Daily Affirmations Prompted Daily Journal. So it's all of the same affirmations from the first book, but inside it's kind of set up. I don't even know if you can see, probably not. You can't see it, but there's like three questions for each
Yeah.
affirmation. So, you know, one example would be like, I live in alignment with my values. So the reflection prompt would be like, what are the core values that guide your life? What are your, like personally, what are your core values? And maybe when have you felt most aligned with those values? So we're trying to find, your middle ground there. And then what challenges or temptations have pulled you away from living in alignment with those values? So just giving you a little bit deeper dive into those affirmations and getting into journaling, because for some people that's so new, it's so foreign. They're not familiar with that. It just seems too foreign. So I thought that this was a good way to kind of get people into the groove of doing that. And then I wrapped up the year with my third, and it was geared towards children, and it was called Dream Big Little Star. Oh, I think
Oh.
the blur is on there, but yeah, sorry, the blur. I'm like, I don't even know how to do that. How do the
I
influencers do
think
it?
if you pull it back further, it's better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So it's a magical bedtime affirmation book that's meant to give readers like the chance to see their true light and just to enjoy the ability to have wonder. Like that
Yeah.
anything is possible. You are capable of everything you set your mind to. So that was my final thing. And that was at the end of 2024.
Okay.
And with that, I started, I've been told in the past, people have always said, you should start a podcast. And I think you're just crazy. That's nuts. I don't know how to do that. I don't know if anybody would listen, whatever. And then it was February 2025, and I was like, nope, I'm doing it. I'm jumping full. Like, I didn't even give warning to anybody. It was just like, I thought I'd let you know I started a podcast. And they're like, how did you? I'm like, don't ask. I just did it. I'm doing it. And I'm going to continue doing it. And I just want to have something that's real and raw and relatable. And I love being able to talk about mindset and healing and resilience and that type of thing. So I always like to say that, like, the Spiritual Gangster Podcast, it's a vibe driven space for the soulful and strong. Like, we're going to cover all sorts of things. We're going to cover grief. We're going to cover, loss. We're going to cover, dealing with money. We're going to deal with relationships, with your energy around you, energy blocks, those type of things. So that's how everything kind of came to fruition.
That is so absolutely incredible. I like to say life just be lifing sometimes
It
because
does. It
life
really do be
just
life.
it just does. And when it's that like consecutive knock, sometimes you get to like the third or fourth one and you almost wonder if you should laugh because it's like, okay, there's just no possible way that this
Right.
can
This can't be
happen.
that. No.
Yeah, so I
Mm.
love how you took something. I'm so sorry for the loss of your mom and
All
your
right.
grandma, first of all,
Thank you.
because, my dad actually passed away 6 months ago today.
Exactly.
6 months ago
It's
today.
fine.
So
It
I
is.
know it's hard.
Raw. It's tough.
It is really, really tough. But, the thing is I've done a lot of identity shifting since that has happened. And I had already
Absolutely.
been working on myself and my healing only probably a few months before my dad actually died. I've gone through a lot of stuff in my earlier years with childhood trauma and all of this stuff. And I decided it was time to start working on it. And it's interesting because one of the first things I did was collaborated a book with 24 other women, the Empower
Amazing.
Her. So it
See?
gave, yeah, and it gave me the ability to do like what you said, to just get it out, just to
Just
get it out.
just do it. Just do the thing. Do the
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I find interesting? You mentioned a couple months before your father passed, you started doing the deep dive into your healing journey. Isn't
Mm-hmm.
that interesting to me? How, ironic? I don't think so, that you were preparing yourself. And I feel how I would take it is you started doing the preparation for yourself and you were already in the process so that you were able to handle, or like even just not even handle, but just grasp the magnitude of what's happening, with the loss of your dad. Could you imagine if you didn't have those 2 months of like healing to happen? Like, I feel like that is super interesting to look at. Like, oh, you 2 months prior, you were moving into this motion. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, God writes the best stories.
Ah, sure does.
He writes the best stories, and I know he wrote my story just with pure perfection.
Yeah,
Like all
no
of the
mistakes.
struggles that I've gone through in my life, the last almost 6.5 years have been hard. My dad was a
Yeah,
survivor of a workplace shooting,
right.
resulted in a traumatic brain injury.
Devastating.
He came home and lived with my
Devastating.
husband and I. We took care of him for 3 years and 8 months, and then he passed away in our house. So nothing about that sounds beautiful. It's very
No,
hard, but God had so many beautiful moments in this over 6 years. The extra time my dad and I got together, the things that
absolutely.
came back to him that were very, very meaningful. So I love how you were able to. I have the certain things that I write down, but tell me a little bit about your identity shift after your divorce. What were some of the steps that you had to shift?
Honestly, I wasn't taking care of myself. And like at the time when it happened, I think my son he wasn't even 2 yet. So I got a little guy on my hand. But what I did immediately for myself, I knew at the time I was working as a developmental support worker. So you need to be on your toes in that type of job. I was working with people who are in wheelchairs and are not mobile, and you need to use slings and such to transfer them. And you need to be sharp if you're doing that. And I knew immediately that my mind, my head was not there. And I was concerned that I don't want to slip up and injure somebody. So I went off of work for 3 months after I was initially separated. And I used that 3 months to hone in and take care of me. And that revolved around daily getting up, journaling, writing out my feelings, writing out my gratitude. Like I try every day, no matter what, write down 5 things you're grateful for. And if you don't write them, that's fine. Think them. Like do something with the gratitude. You always have to find gratitude. And I find that if you do it the moment you wake up, that's the best bet because, I open my eyes and I'm like, oh my goodness, okay, let me think about this. Could be the sun peeping in the window. I'm like, ooh, that is beautiful. Like if you really sit for a second, I'm like, that's beautiful. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful that I got to see that this morning, that I woke up to see that. Um, could be like my snuggles with my kids. Like, man, like I'll think about the night before. Man, those snuggles were really good. Man, I'm so grateful for my kids. Wow, I am laying in this big king size bed. I am so grateful that I am able to have this and a roof over my head, and then go start my day. And it's like everybody knows who has kids, like it's so unpredictable. You don't know when they're going to crash out. And it's
Yeah.
like if I didn't take the time to have some gratitude first thing, I may follow suit and crash out. However, if I've taken a step back already, I can see really what I'm looking at. Okay, you're crashing out because you need this and this and this. Okay, I can help you with that. Let's take a step back and let's work through this slowly together. So I feel like everything kind of would go back to the gratitude. So once I had that, that really, really helped with moving through the separation there at first. And the main thing with that was my son and we signed up for the local community center.
Mm.
And every single morning, I would go work out and they had child minding. So I was like, this is perfect. I'm like, you're going to watch him and like, do you need anything? They're like, no. Like, we are all certified to, you know, take care of kids. Like, we are good. Go enjoy your workout, enjoy your shower after. So I got this time to work out and really think. And I found like I didn't love working out. It
Yeah.
was not my thing, but it became my thing because it
Mhm.
became my moment to really go inward while I was working out, while I'm doing these things, think about where do I see my life going? What do I want for my kids? Like where can this go? So that became the biggest thing. And then my son and I would go to a park. So every day. So we do our gym thing. Then we'd hop in the car, we'd go to a park. And it was just like a fantastic way to create a new routine that was helping to build good things for me. Like the working out. Yeah, I don't love it, but man, was it helping my mind.
Oh yeah.
My goodness, that I think was the biggest thing. Starting to pay attention to what I really needed. And I needed to go inward with my journaling, and I needed to move my body because it really helped release the stress, the upset, and just kind of maneuver my way through it.
Yeah, and really utilizing like those tools out there for learning to love yourself. You
Yeah,
know, like when
absolutely.
we're loving ourselves, we're able to apply all of these things to, our life and ourselves. But when we're
Absolutely.
not loving ourselves, it kind of
Exactly.
creates something different, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I find that like by doing these things, like you don't just find yourself, like you build yourself. So I feel like
Yes.
all of these things kind of were building the foundation for the new life. And so even though all the crazy things were happening, I had built it on a strong foundation. So now it doesn't matter what comes my way. Things are going to come.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. I may have already gone through all this. That doesn't mean that there's not more coming. But I do feel capable. I feel capable to handle whatever comes my way. I believe in my own strength that I can get through hard things. I can do hard things. I can do hard things. And so it sounds so silly to be an adult and be like, I can do hard things, but you need to hear that sometimes. Like, you really can. I know it feels like, you're bottoming out and that the world is collapsing in on you, but if you don't give up on yourself, if you believe in yourself, you will see growth. You will.
I love that. And I talk about that a lot here, that strong foundation. The visual that I always give is when you're building a house, you cannot just build it on sand or ground because what's
Absolutely
going to
not.
happen is eventually that house is going to collapse because it doesn't have a foundation. It may not be right away. Your house may stand for, 3, 5, 6 years, but eventually the outcome is what it's
Going
going to
down.
be. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that building that strong foundation is exactly how, like you said, because this is exactly where I'm at. I know that I'm currently in a stage of life that is the worst thing that could have possibly have happened, which is losing my dad. That's literally my nightmare.
Right.
And I am probably more level-headed about the situation than I could have ever even have imagined because of the
Mhm.
depth of healing that I have integrated myself and grounded myself in. And then with that being said, I know life is still gonna life. This
Yeah.
may be my nightmare right now, but I'm prepared but just like you said,
Mhm.
I know that I'll be fine. I know that I have the ability to do hard things and to make it through the things as long as I'm using the right tools to be able to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
I think that you're so right on that. I think that, I always have said, some people are like, why did this happen? Why did tragedy happen? And why do horrible things happen?
Mhm,
And they're like, how, sometimes people pull it in, how could God do that? Or blah, blah, blah.
mhm, mhm,
Well, I see it like this. There is purpose in every bit of pain that you have. There will always be purpose in pain because yes, going through the loss of a parent or whatever you've gone through, and my loss is so different than your loss,
mhm.
like where they stem from. So mine, cancer, yours was being shot. Like that's a horrendous. So and you think, how is this going to serve purpose? But what people don't understand is by you going through this, you have no idea the positive outreach you may have and the lives you may touch because of what you've endured, because of what you've gone through. You may be a light, a beacon to so many people because you've gone through that. And if you didn't go through it, that connection wouldn't have been there. But because you are, you know what I mean? So I just feel like there's purpose in pain. There's always purpose in pain. And it's just what we do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree too, because I thought, man, why everything was so good. There was no sign that my dad was going to pass away. I thought, I mean, I was willing to be his caregiver. I used to joke and say, Dad, you're going to probably live so long. I'm going to have to hire a caregiver to take care of me and you because I'm going to be old when you die, you know? So we used to kind of have that conversation. I never saw that coming. But now that I'm integrated where I am in my healing, I'm like, even like that, why would God have had my dad get shot? Why this whole thing? And I am more fulfilled with my identity shift. And I thought, oh boy, I had to go through that really hard chapter in my life in order to be the woman that I am designed and destined to be. I've never been this strong in my faith before. I've never been, it's so wild to say, I've never been this happy in my
You know
entire
what it
life.
ignited? You know what
Yeah,
it ignited?
yeah, well, because my confidence in myself, my ability to be able to lean on, first of all, my faith, always first and foremost, that God carries me through everything.
Everything.
I mean, that is the center of my entire being and my entire life. And I've been joking with people and saying, I think what I'm feeling is God said, you did a really great job with all of the stuff that I've had you navigate. You've stayed steadfast to your faith. You've been a
Yep.
disciple. You've grown in your faith and you have continued to do God's will, my will. So I'm going to give you a break, but I'm not going to just open up a door for you. I'm going to open up a floodgate because since
Yeah.
my dad has died, the opportunity, the
The
joy,
doors
the
are opening.
happiness, it's like, how can people are like, how are you this joyful when your dad's only been gone for 6 months? Well, do I really want to look at God and slap him in the face for the blessings that he has given me in the meantime
Right.
and before? I
Right.
can't
You have
rewrite the
gratitude.
story. It doesn't matter how much I beg or cry. God's not going to say, I didn't realize this was going to hurt Darcie that much. I'm going to put
I'm
Bill
like,
back. Like,
yeah.
that's not going to
It
happen.
just doesn't
So
work
we
like that.
just have to get to a stronger place. So your identity had to shift after your divorce.
Yeah.
You got into this really great rhythm with yourself and learning these different things
Right.
about yourself. And then your mom, unfortunately, has this
Yes.
happen. So what
Yeah.
happens at that time? Are you did you regress or was your identity shift strong enough to power through or what happened?
I think I powered through at that point. That was like, yeah, there's everybody was saying, well, not everybody, but lots of people were like, oh, she's gone too soon. And it's like she had cancer 20 years prior. So when I was a
Mm,
teenager and she beat it. So when she beat it, she got to see all of her children get married. She got to see my brother have children, spend time with them, help raise them. She got to see my two children raise them, help raise them. You know what I mean? So I see it as she got 20 bonus years, and that's
yes.
amazing. And she was a teacher for 30 plus years, and she continued doing that even in retirement. She still was going to schools, helping kids read and stuff like that. It was just something she was so passionate about. So I'm like, no, the kids got 30 more, they got 20 more years of her. I got 20 more years. I feel like if she died when I was a teenager, I would have been like, yes, I was robbed. In the
Yes.
teenage mindset, I would be like, I'm robbed. But I saw it for what it was. I was blessed with 20 more years. If it was her time, okay. And I saw the state she was in. You're not going to come back from that. You're not going to be the same mom that I know. It's time for you to go. And I think sometimes when the people we love cross over, so that they can help us more from the other side to make these things come to fruition. Like I don't think she would ever imagine that I would have a podcast. I
Yeah.
don't think she would ever imagine that there's people on the other side of the world listening. Like I think that this would just blow her mind. So I'm like,
Hmm.
no, there's purpose in everything, purpose in
Yeah.
everything.
Well, when I first started my podcast, it was supposed to be a place because I've only been here since July 30th of 2025. So
Okay,
I'm
dokes.
still super new in this space, right? So I had considered it, and then I was so busy with other things I had going on in my life, like taking care of my dad. I was in network
Yeah.
marketing. I'm a photographer on the side. I have other things that I do
Oh,
as well. So I'm
oh,
like
nice.
the charcuterie of all of the things. And
Right?
I like came up with the name when I was on a walk and even came up with my slogan. And then I came home and I went to Spotify and I'm like reading this stuff and I'm like, yeah, no. This is way too much for me right now. There's no way I could do it. Well, then last year, my husband and I went to a lake house retreat and we
Ooh,
did a little bit of NLP with one of my friends, neuro linguistic programming, which I'm actually a practitioner of now,
yes, I saw that.
which is super cool.
That's
But
wonderful.
I never felt so nurtured in my entire life.
That's
And I went
wonderful.
there with my notebook because I was the process of finishing my chapter for my first collaborative book. And I'm like, I'm going to write this book when I'm in this chapter when I'm here. And instead, I just found myself like sitting in the grass with my husband, enjoying nature, butterflies, and, hearing
Just
fish jumping and like the
slowing down. Yeah.
clouds. And I'm like, man, it's not like you and I have never sat in the grass together. I mean, my husband and I have been together for 27 years. We've been sitting in some grass.
Ooh,
That's
sitting in the
not
grass.
what it was. It was like really appreciating it and taking
Yeah.
it in, So I thought, okay, well, I went home and I finished the chapter, submitted it to the editor, and the very next day I said, I'm going to open the podcast today.
I'm gonna do it.
I said, what the heck is going on? Like, I don't even know. And now here we are, like a
Right?
hundred episodes or something later, interviewing
Right?
all of these incredible people. So my
So
dad
cool.
got to see all of that stuff happen. But I like how you said when you went through these losses that you said that you had this being strong for everyone else type of internal
Mentality.
feeling that you felt like, right? So how many siblings do you have? Do you have siblings?
Two older brothers. I'm the baby. Yeah. And there's
Okay.
big age gap, like 8 and 11 years between us, and then me.
Hmm.
So I just feel like I was holding it together. Like I felt like I needed to be like that, you know?
Yeah.
And whether that's the mother in me as well, that was like, I gotta hunker down. We're gonna get through this. It's okay. It was like saying all the things that I needed to hear, but like
Yeah.
telling everybody else, like, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this. This is part of life. And if you hate this, you can't hate. You can't. Life is life and death. You have to
Hmm.
love all of it. You don't get to just
Hmm.
choose, no, I love life. No, life includes death. Like that is what our time here is. And if you don't have appreciation for the whole thing, you're being nitpicky. You can't be like that. If you genuinely have love for this life that God's given us, then you take the good and the bad. I
Yeah.
I love my mom, but it was her time, and
Hmm.
that's okay because that's part of the story and that's part of how it's going to go. So I have to find the appreciation for that because that is part of the plan. We all know that. We
That's
all know
right.
we're not going to be here forever. So
Hmm.
understand that you're going to have the bad and the bad doesn't feel good, but how do you know? How are you going to know that something feels so bad unless you felt the good?
Oh, I love that you say that because I've said that before too when people, because when you're a Christian and people question everything, like you said, why does God allow bad things to happen and things like
Right.
that? But rainbows are beautiful. They're just
Yeah.
beautiful. But if you saw a rainbow every single day, would it be as beautiful?
Would it have the
Would you
same effect?
be pulling over on the side of the road to look at it? Would you be grabbing your cell
Right.
phone to be like, oh my gosh, where does it end?
Right.
I've
Or you'd be like,
probably
oh,
seen,
another rainbow.
I'm 46. I've seen some rainbows, but every single time it's like, oh, beauty. Oh my
Ooh,
gosh, where is it? I love it. Do you see all the colors? Where's it go? But if you saw it every day, you'd be like, oh, there's another
there's another
rainbow.
rainbow.
Oh,
Great, a double. There's a
but
double.
yeah, oh, great, a double.
Yeah.
Seriously though, because that
Right.
is exactly right. That if we were to just have good all of the time, how the heck would we know that it's good?
Exactly. So you need to have the balance of the hardships and the not so good times because that gives you perspective on, wow, what do I genuinely hold close to me? What do I
Mhm.
value? What means something to me? And by experiencing the hard, and another great quote that I had heard, and I think it was from Andrew Garfield. He had said that like he would never take away the the sadness that he feels, or the emotion that he has when he thinks of losing his mother. He said, because I think of it as every time that I cry, it's just all the love that I wasn't able to express since they've passed. So he said, I cherish every time I cry when I think about her, because it's just all the love that I haven't been able to express to her. And I love that. I'm like, that is true. So I'm okay with crying about missing my mom every once in a while, because that just shows, I'm not
There
turning
was
crusty
real
and
love
cold
there.
inside. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
thought that was a beautiful.
I like that too because even though it's only been 6 months, I find myself not feeling sad that my dad died, because like you said, you got an extra 20 years with your mom. I got an extra
Right.
just over 6 with my dad, after the
Right.
incident happened. So what a blessing. So I don't find it as being sad when people question that. I say, if your friend won a ticket to paradise, would you be mad? Like if they
Exactly.
called you and said, "Oh my gosh, we just won tickets to paradise," you'd be like, "Ew, you're gonna go to paradise? That sounds horrible." No, of course you'd be like, "Whoa, that's gonna be
You're upset
awesome."
because you want them to stay with you and
Take
not go
pictures,
enjoy that.
take pictures of everything. But like
Right.
my dad got to go to paradise and he's in the ultimate place that we all want to make it to. So I'm not sad about that. I miss him. And
Right.
it's that earthly pain of not even being able to make the phone call or not just being able to swing by or give him that last hug or whatever.
Right.
But the way that God ended our chapter was beautiful. There was
Absolutely.
no pain, there was no suffering. When I found my dad that morning, he was smiling. And I know that he had seen the Lord, and I know he was like, "It's real, Dars. It's real." It was like this very scary, sad, somber, beautiful, incredible moment, all of the
Right.
emotions wrapped into one.
I totally get that. I really do. When my mom, it was very close to when she was passing, probably like the week of. I used to go on my breaks. I would go and visit her. I was working in the same city, so I'd go on my lunch break, go hang out a little bit. And she was kind of at the point where she's not really talking or anything. She could, but really wasn't. And then I remember asking a question, and I think maybe it's because I'm the youngest, or I don't know. I just asked the ballsy questions. And I was just like, can I ask you, are you scared? And she
Mm,
was like, no. She said, I have so much faith in God that I know that she said, I'm not sad and I'm not scared. She's like, the only thing that I'm sad about is that this is going to make you sad.
yes.
She's like, but actually going, I'm not scared. I'm not sad. I'm ready. And
Mm-hmm.
then I remember asking her, and it was such a weird question to ask, but I was like, so who are you most excited to connect with on the other side? And she said her grandmother, because she had
Mm,
helped raise her. And I was like, I like leaned over to her and I was like, how exciting is
yeah.
this that you are so close to seeing her again? And it's been so many years. You are so lucky that this is on the cusp. You're so close. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that that must have felt good for her. I would think having your baby, your youngest, basically say, like, it's okay. You can go. Like, don't stay for me. Don't stay because
Mm-hmm.
I'm your baby and you don't want to hurt me. I'll be okay. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
will, because you're going to be with me on the other side. And I really believe that. And honestly, like the night, it was like after midnight on December 25th when I got the phone call. I felt so off. I felt awful for the lady that had to call me. And you
Mm,
could tell she didn't want to have to tell me. And she was like choked up on the phone. I'm like, oh, honey, this is your job, honey. Like, it's okay. She
yeah.
was she was on her way out, and it's okay. Like, please don't let this ruin your night. Like, and I remember walking into my living room, and the Christmas tree's all lit up, but all the lights are off except for the Christmas tree lit up. And I remember I just stood still, and I felt something very warm, as if it was a hug. And I know that that was her. Like, there's nobody who could ever tell me otherwise. Like, that was her. It was within minutes of the phone call. And I felt somewhat at ease after that. I knew that, okay, it is going to be okay. We're going to get through this. It's
Mm-hmm.
just going to be different. You're going to help me from the other side. And so that's how I think of it always. Like, I didn't lose my partner in crime. She's there. She's going to help me in different ways. And that's awesome.
Yes. Tell me a little bit about that because I had that extra time with my dad. And he
Yeah.
did live with my husband and I for 3 years and 8 months. And he was physically disabled. He was there mentally. He did have aphasia, so automation would come out sometimes. We couldn't
Mm.
have like this kind of conversation back and
Right.
forth. But I did tell him, Dad, if God ever, comes a knocking, don't stay. Like if you're ready and you see the Lord and you want to go, I will be okay. So he definitely knew that I was always going to be okay. Now I can tell you, I have felt my dad around me so much.
Right.
Tell
They're
me about your
there.
experience with that.
Oh, I feel it often, but like the very first moment, like there was no way to describe. Like I remember I had walked into the living room and I kind of put my hand on the couch, just kind of like taking a moment to like digest what was just told. And I'm by myself, and it was just like I looked down, and it was as if somebody literally was in front of me and gripping my shoulders like in a tight embrace. Like it was enough that I didn't even question what was happening. I was like, and I just said thank you.
Mm,
So that's one of the biggest things, just saying thank you for that. And I
mm,
carry that on even today with just anything. When the bad things happen, thank you. Thank
yeah.
you. There's a reason. I don't know what the reason is. I don't understand the reason, but thank you. I'm going to put gratitude out there. There's a reason why this is happening in my life, and it might hurt and it might be uncomfortable, but thank you because I am going to learn from it. I'm going to grow somehow. I'm not sure in this moment, but thank you. The gratitude. I feel like once you have that perspective change, that that everything sort of starts to change.
Well, and the openness to receiving. We have to
Absolutely.
have like this openness to receiving. So, people have their own idealizations about if people can, from the other side, if they can come through the veil and if they can,
Yeah.
communicate in some type of way. And my dad was such a strong spirit here on earth. I kind of
Right.
always felt like he was going to. So he's done, I mean, numerous things where it's like, there's no way anybody can convince me any different than it's my dad. I mean, even
Yeah.
down to the day that I was able to finally bring his ashes home. I checked some of the notifications on our door camera, and here this blue jay is like standing
See?
right in front
Yeah.
of the camera with his face like beat you home, beat you home. And I thought it was kind of funny because we've
Exactly what
had
it
this ring camera forever. And that's never happened, first of all.
is.
Secondly, it's
Exactly.
the day that I'm bringing my dad's ashes home. But third of all, my dad's password to his bank account was Bluebird.
Get out.
So I'm like,
See?
oh, okay. So
Thank
you are a
you.
blue jay now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just being
Oh, that's
open to,
awesome.
and I will. And I'm so excited. I was doing a podcast episode last week and I was talking about my dad. We had like an ice storm going outside. We hadn't lost power all day long. I'm right telling about cleaning my dad's bedroom out, and I didn't wait to do it. I did it right away because I wanted to do it raw in my healing, and everything shut off. And I'm like looking around, like, what the heck is going on? Well, then it all turned back on, and my guest is like, oh, there you are. Your pink sign's off. What happened? And I'm like, I think it's the ice storm. But then when we were done, I'm like, I actually think it was my dad
I actually think it was probably your dad. I think he was
checking
just jumping
in.
in. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I
Well,
love
they're
that.
always there. So other than that first initial like hug, there's been other moments. Like there's just been so many where I'll literally I could be upset and I will ask, I want a hug. Like I want
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Please give me a hug. And if I'm sitting in a quiet enough, by myself, things are quiet, I'll feel it. And
Hmm.
like I said, like the crying will stop. And it's like sometimes when you're crying, you can't turn it off and you can't stop, and then it does like so I know it's her. I know it's her it's the hug only a mom could, or a parent can give, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So I'm just such a believer that it's her. And when I've been crashing out, having an issue or something, and I ask her, please carry this, please. And it's an immediate. And I actually told one of my brothers this too, like ask, if you're going through something, like you might think I'm woo woo, but I'm telling you, ask mom to carry it. And they did it, and they were like, that was weird. That was weird. It worked. I was like, see, she's there. She still has purpose. if you tap into it.
It's so interesting because I never thought about asking. And I don't know if it's because, like, I always cry out to the Lord and ask Him to take everything, just take it all.
Right.
But it's like I didn't even have to ask my dad. He just shows up and does it.
Just
Like, it's
does
so I
it.
did ask him one time to show me a number and then it happened. But
Yeah,
I
that's
was having
me.
a crash out session where it was like sitting on the sofa home by myself for the first time since he died because my husband went to a
Yeah.
men's ministry at church. And I was all active and cleaning. And then all of a sudden, this particular song came on. And then I
Right.
found myself sitting down, full out, like, can't breathe, crying. And I see something out of my peripheral vision. And wouldn't you know, there is like this huge 10-point buck walking across the road. And I
Oh my
said,
goodness.
what? And like my dog saw it after I saw it. I like grabbed my phone to run outside and take a picture. Gone.
Gone. Of
Gone.
course it is.
I was
Of
like,
course it is.
"Oh, okay, Dad.
Thank you.
Like, I'm okay.
And that's
I'm
when you
gonna
say
shake it
thank you.
off."
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's so awesome.
I love that.
So many things with these books. Where are your books? Are they on Amazon?
Yeah, they're on Amazon. Just
Okay.
under Spiritual Gangster Daily Affirmations, or the name Amanda Pieraldi. They come up with that as well.
Okay, very awesome.
Yeah.
And then they can find you Spiritual Gangster on Facebook and Instagram.
Yes.
And then where is your podcast?
All of them. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, True Heart, like all of the big ones,
Awesome.
all the big boys.
Good, good. Well, if you could leave my viewers with one last positive affirmation, what would it be?
But you can be soft and still powerful.
Mm.
I think that's my biggest one, my biggest takeaway. That you can be soft and still be powerful. Because sometimes we need to lean into that softness when we're healing, and that can be challenging, but you can be powerful and soft at the same time.
I love that. I love that so much. Thank you so much for sharing all of
Oh,
this
thank you
really
for
great
having me. Oh my
information and
goodness.
story. I mean, so powerful. I love connecting with people that have gone through the hard knocks and have come out graduated from it. Like I
Right.
like to joke that I'm a multi-graduate of it because I've already gone
Right.
through the school so many
Exactly. I've been
times.
through it a few times. Not my first rodeo. No.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. I really
Um,
appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast.
Yeah, I'm so glad. All right, School of Hard Knocks, you know what to do. As soon as you are done with this episode, go and find Amanda on all of the platforms. Follow her, show support, share all of the things. There's more than enough room at the top of the mountain for everybody. And as always,
Thank you.
healing is possible when you are walking with God. I'll see you guys on the next episode. I'd like to thank you for sharing your time with me today. And I'm so proud of you for stepping into your healing journey. Please share this with every single person that you know. I'm here to make the biggest impact possible, and I can only do that with you by my side. I hope you hit that follow button and you save me to your library so you never miss an episode. We just took another break out of your wall, and remember, with God, healing is always possible. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.